everybody, it's Donna. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm just going to do a flip through of a recent junk journal that I made. It's supposed to be a Christmas gift for this past Christmas, but I never quite got it done in time. But there's a couple of things that I'm really excited over doing, a couple of things I've never done before. We're going to start with let me get it out of here. Just the bag itself that I put it in. I've never made a bag, never sewn that much at all, ever. So I made this bag based on a video I saw, someone who made these little tiny bags for like the 12 days of Christmas, and they put little gifts in them for the 12 days. I just made it a little bit bigger and made a few mistakes, and it's lined, which I found incredible for me to be able to do that. I showed it to my husband. He was not in the least bit impressed. I was, because I've never done anything like this before, so I was really happy that I was able to follow a YouTube video and complete this. The decoration I added second because I hadn't thought that far ahead, so I did go back and sew this in and just glued down the decoration on top because I wanted this to actually kind of somewhat match the junk journal that I created, and so I'm happy with that. So that turned out nice. This is the junk journal. I actually made it for someone in particular. I made it for my son and his girlfriend as a place for them to keep pictures and journaling and write things. I'm hoping they'll use, because when my son was younger, I wish now, thinking back, that I wasn't much of a scrapbooker. I did scrapbook a little bit, but I would have preferred some spot just to put the pictures in things, little things that came from school with, or anything that I wanted to remember. I wish I had a spot already made up to put it in, and rather than having to create a scrapbook for these types of things, that would have worked better for me. So I created this junk journal. It is made from a recycled hardcover book that I'm sure would have ended up in the incinerator if I hadn't grabbed it. I'm not sure where I got it from, but it was black. I didn't cover it at all with anything. The only thing I changed, I did cover the spine to reinforce it. And I obviously took the guts of the book itself out. I'm still looking for the perfect closure for it because it is kind of chunky, so it kind of does need something. I did have a ribbon in here and here, but it was already pulling on the cover, so I didn't like that because I knew it was really going to put too much pressure on it, and I figured they're going to bring it back to me and I'd have to change it anyway. So instead I decided to cut it off, and for now I'm just tying it with this leftover piece of fabric. I wish I had a piece of the really nice sari silk, but I don't. So until I find something, I was thinking maybe even if I wash this black seam binding, it might go nice and crinkly and make a nice closure for it. But for now, right now, I have this, which matches the bag. On the spine, I put one of the Tim Holtz circle dangle things so I could attach and detach the dangle. It is with a lobster claw, but apparently my fingers aren't working this morning. There we go. And it's just beads and leftover ribbons and stuff like that I made. I do like it because it can come off, or I prefer if it can come off. A Stampin' Up bow from years ago. This is a little cardinal brad. It's there strategically because I actually poked the hole on the wrong side for this. And there's a embossed bird right here, which was turning out to be up here. And I just didn't like it, so I ended up flipping it over and doing it the right way. And I just filled the hole in with the little cardinal brad. I wanted to use these throughout, but I was starting to get carried away with the amount of stuff I was putting in this journal. Tim Holtz book corners on all four corners. This is a Stampin' Up, I think it's poinsettia petals, maybe from last year, that I thought was perfect. These are actually pretty solid down there. I was afraid about putting paper on it because I didn't want it to rip off, but they're really glued well. There's a lot of like glue dots, different types of different manufacturers glue dots underneath there. A lot of foam tape, so it's pretty solid. Even the little sprigs are pretty solid. And so I don't think it's going to, as long as they're careful, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. A book plate, no idea, probably off of Amazon. And then I typed up the little book plate for inside there and just attached it with two little flower brads because I couldn't find my other little tiny round brads at the time, so that one I had to do. opening it up, this is a Stampin' Up paper that I used because I wanted something really generic. And I did have a Tim Holtz package of like Christmas stuff that I do make a lot of tags throughout. This is a digital. These are just little thick little stickers. That's a digital. The junk journal is made with some digital, some junk papers, but we'll go through that. I did include a letter for them so that they know actually what it was for. Hopefully by the time this goes up on YouTube, they will actually have had the chance to receive this gift, because they're not going to be getting it until, you know, towards the end of January. Both my husband and I have COVID, so they're not coming over, and we're not going there for quite some time, so it's probably going to stay here for a little bit anyways. I did include the first page to have an idea of what this is supposed to be about, so I typed up our Christmases together, and my son's name and his girlfriend's name. This is not on tea dye, but it's like a digital tea dye paper. I did decide I didn't want the whole page to go all the way around, to wrap around like it's supposed to, so I did cut it off, but I might actually add some kind of bag or something else to include there. I'm not sure. And then stickers, like cheap stickers, but these ones are really, really thick. They're like almost like, not cardboard, but like plastic, I guess. And then I had this digital that I printed off, it had a whole bunch of sayings. If I remember where I bought them, I will link to them in the description, but they all came from Etsy. Another digital. And then these digitals here, I turned into stickers by printing them on sticker paper, matte, like it was photo paper, but it's matte, and it had sticker on the back. This, I believe, was a Stampin' Up punch. I do have a die like that as well. And then I included just one picture at the front so they could see what I mean by putting pictures and stuff. I'm trying not to show them because I don't know if they want to be showing. This page here is made out of a placemat that you can, for a table. It's a paper placemat. I bought it at a discount store close by to us. I just turned it into a pocket here and then a flap so you can write or do whatever you want on that side. And then I made a bunch of these tags with that Tim Holtz paper pack. Just embellished it, some with washi tape, some with the digitals I had printed off, and included a little, what do you want to call that, ribbon at the top. And then I stamped it with the corrugated paper, corrugated cardstock, and inked it up. Not all of them, some of them I left blank so they can write if they want, or they can put a picture on or whatever. Another digital. I also made out of Christmas cards that I received this year, the same type of idea. It's repurposed, and it is junk, so, I mean, it's not junk at the time, but I didn't want them just to be thrown out, and I don't want really a big stash of them, so I just again stamped the corrugated cardboard lines on the back, cut the front out. As long as they didn't write on this side, I was able to cut it out and repurpose them into journal tags or cards or whatever. This here, I made it into a text spot, but it is an old share certificate. I thought it was kind of cool. I like junk journals to have stuff to look at, so not just digitals, but stuff to look at from years gone by. So this is an old share certificate from, I believe it was like 1930s, and I just sewed a piece of lace on there as to make it a little like a belly band for a text spot. Another digital, this is the back of the share certificate with a little pocket. Not every signature is, they have the same amount of pages, but the embellishments are different because I wanted to use up what I had sitting around. And if I printed something, I wanted to make sure I could use up as much as I could. Another pocket, I love my postage stamps. I have a huge box full of them. So I do use postage stamps a lot and different things. Counting paper, Clemener paper, which I usually have a lot of. This is another digital, but I printed it on, it's a PNG file that I printed on clear sticker paper so that it's actually see-through, which I really like the effect when you put it on like a book page because you can technically see right through it. It's just really cool. I made that into a pocket, added some other words or whatever you want to call them, sentiments, and another big tag from the Tim Holtz paper. I had to make different size tags, but the bigger ones are Tim Holtz. The other ones usually were printable. That isn't digital, but I just left it blank just for writing or for pictures. This is a piece of parchment paper. It's a Christmas parchment tape paper that comes that way from the dollar store. And I just wanted to include it because it was kind of Christmassy. I'm sure you could still attach a picture on top of there. Some music paper. Always have to include music sheets. I love music sheets, but I did stick with Christmas carols. Another digital. This digital I just glued 3 strips of ribbon to make a little tuck spot. Another card with the same thing on it. This is just a certificate that you can print, like print at home certificates that I found, I think probably at the, I don't know, Value Village or one of the thrift stores, and included that. I also sewed some lace onto it, included other decorations, a Christmas doily, just a nice touch because it's Christmassy, but there's no reason you can't write or add something to that as well. This is the center piece. This is a coffee dyed sheet that I did, so you can feel it. It's nice and crinkly. These I included, on these ones for every center one, I included the digital pockets. And then I put things that they can use to decorate. These are just photo corners, so that I find it easier to put your photo corner on your picture and then stick it down, because then you have placement properly and you can still change your photo if you wanted to. So that was the center. This is the first time I've used, this is actual, like, I don't know if it's called linen, but it's meant for this. It's really thick and it's waxed, and it was really nice to work with it. It glided right through the holes and everything. The other side, and then this is the other half of the signature, going back the other way. This is actually a Christmas card that had this really cute, these remind me of the Tetley Tea or the Keebler, you know, those Tetley Tea people. But I just cut it out around them and stuck it down here and used it as a tuck spot. There's actually another piece to this card that had like the sentiment, which you'll see later on, that I cut out and used as a belly band. Another just journaling card from a Christmas card. This one I didn't stamp anything on the back. The other half of the music sheet with a pocket. I did not include something in every single pocket. It was just getting too chunky, and I wanted them to put whatever they wanted in those pockets. To me, a junk journal is not meant to just be looked at. I want people to actually feel the need to use them and to write them and to store whatever precious memories or whatever they want. Paper clips, so you can clip something there. These are from Stampin' Up, these little doodad things. Old. They were on the clearance rack some time ago that I picked them up. The other half of the counting paper. This digital, I love this digital of this. This is an actual tuck spot, but I didn't think of using that as a tuck spot until later on. So there's a few that I glued right down, and I realized they make nice little tuck spots as well. Another Christmas card on the other half. These were little envelopes I bought, but in these envelopes I did include with them other pieces of ephemera or decorations, embellishments, whatever, so that they can stick them down wherever they wanted. And then some more little tags, smaller tags that were done from digitals. The other half of the placemat. And that's the end of the first signature. So I'm just going to speed up the next two signatures just so you can see that the pages are basically all the same. There's just the embellishments themselves that I have changed just slightly, or that obviously the journaling cards are one of a kind because they were used from my what I received this year. Here's the sentiment from that card where I just glued it on either end, but it became a nice cute little spot for just tuck something behind, and yet they can still write on this. Here's another card that I thought was really cute. It came this shape, but I just cut it around here, and I'm using it as a tuck spot. Great way to use up your cards. Usually I make like tags for to and from for the next Christmas with them, but this year I think I used up pretty much all of them that I received in this book. The only ones I don't reuse like that are generally ones that were handmade. Obviously I do get a few. Those ones I don't. I keep those for inspiration. I usually put them on my shelf. Another one of those really thick stickers. And then these are also spots that I put embellishments in. for them. These little envelopes have embellishments. I gave some reinforcements just in case you needed reinforcements. Bigger pieces, I just slid in there. This is one of the ones that I should have made into a tuck spot, but never thought. Tag, edit for Christmas card. This one I did put on a pocket because when I did these pockets, I did them incorrectly. And I ended up with 2 extra ones, so I decided to use them in the, might as well use them up, and so I put them in here. Another little dangle. This one, I think this tassel, I guess it's called, I got from the dollar store. They had a bunch of them, or a discount store. Another tag with a brad holding the ribbon in. Another one of those. Another tag. This tag I actually made with another pocket inside in the front of it, where I just put some embellishments that they can use. And that's the end of the second signature. So the third signature, pretty much the same, but just the embellishments are probably slightly different. Each signature, I just gave them a few extra ones. These are just blank. Has, I think it's 50 something. I know there's 168 pages in total. And in the whole binder, I think each one had 52, maybe 56. I can't remember. My math isn't that great. Another one of those. Some more embellishments in there. These I made a long time ago. I think I even have a video on how I made them, but they're really cute. And most of them weren't Christmas, and they were too bright and cheerful, but this one, because it was just book paper, was perfect for that. The other pocket. This one was perfect because this one actually is stuck in there for some reason. This one was made from the card that my son's girlfriend's parents gave to us, so I thought that was pretty cool to be able to include that. I also want to include some tuck pockets made out of like Monopoly playing, like, you know, those Chance and Community, or maybe Sorry cards. But I couldn't find any that could make that Christmassy enough for it, because they play a lot of cards and board games, and I thought that would be cool to include ephemera made out of that, but I just never had the opportunity to. And there's the end of the book. Now this book is made from, the spine I actually made from, I don't know what that little piece of paper was. The spine is made from, I don't know if you can see it. It's actually one of the ones that are kind of floating. So it's like almost like a real book to see in there. So the spine is actually floating on another piece. This piece is made out of faux leather tape that I got off of Amazon. Not for making a journal, but it was for our trailer had a rip in the couch. And we literally had duct tape on it because I didn't want it to get worse. So when I saw this, I bought it and I went, oh, and it comes in lots of different colors. Let me see if I can find the little box of it. I can't remember how much it was, but at the time I didn't really care because it was for so that the mice wouldn't get into the hole, and I didn't want it to look like, you know, from Fraser's dad that had duct tape all over his chair. But I think it's like 2 inches. Oh no, that's more than 2 inches, maybe 3 inches. I don't know. But it comes in different colors, but it is like faux leather look type thing. But it worked, and it worked out perfect because it's sticky on the back. So what I had to do is I had to cover up the back with, I took some of this paper that I used on the front where the inside covers, and I stuck it down the center and left the 2 edges just with just sticky, so that when it came time, I sewed on the signatures to this, and then I could glue it down like this and still had the sticky there. Now I did reinforce it with more glue, just to make sure that it would stay down. The other side of the spine, like on this piece, the actual spine part is covered in paper as well, because I didn't want I didn't want it to look unfinished. Now in retrospect, you really can't tell. You can't see in there, but I know it's there, and that's what kind of counts. The spine, I know when I put this decoration on, I know that it's off center, but I put the decoration on before I had glued in the signatures. So it is off center a little bit. I'm not too worried about it. I think just by adding the spines, I kind of shifted this, adding the signature spine into the spine, kind of shifted it a bit. But once you put on the dangle, you really can't see all that bad. For this, I did use a ribbon that wasn't wide enough, so I sewed on another pretty ribbon on top, and then this ribbon on the edge, just to make it a little bit bigger so it would go around the whole thing. So for the bag, I ended up doing the same thing, but I didn't have the other piece of lace left for either side, but that's fine. It's still kind of matched. And then I glued on these yo-yos that were in my stash from like years ago. And that's pretty much it. I think I'm going to put something on the back that says who it was made by, and go from there. It was obviously a labor of love. It took me, well, not as long as you would think, because I have another video coming up where I show you my hydrangea junk journal that did take me like months to do. This one wasn't too bad. It was probably about, I started just before Christmas, so probably about a month. Now it helped because we are off sick, so when I have the energy, I have been down here. But this, I mean, I'm fortunate I have all 3 shots, but it drained us. It's not that we're not terribly sick, but it did drain us for energy. Fatigue, really, fatigue. Overwhelming fatigue. So it was hard to actually do anything. But I did get a little bit done. So that is my junk journal that I'm very, very proud of. And the bag that I'm almost as proud of, because the bag has never done anything like that before. And it fits nicely in there. And it's a place to store it. So thank you for watching. And we will catch you very soon.
Please subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified each time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching and stay safe.